Good day, everyone. Today I'm going to present my paper entitled Reevaluating the Notion of Tamad and the Story of Juan Tamad and Filipino. So a bit of background is during the Spanish era in the Philippines, Spaniards thought that native Filipinos are lazy because of their inefficiency in doing their jobs. They will see the native Filipinos laying around, having siesta or etc., when they were supposed to be worked. And they thought that the Asians are lazy and barbaric, and they are the smarter and civilized people. So this ideology is very Eurocentric. According to Said, it is a propaganda to exploit the the Filipinos or the colonized people even more. No, are Filipino really lazy or tamad? And Rizal answered this in his article, and he said, yes, Filipinos are tamad or lazy, but with two reasons. First is a colonialism, and second is tropical climate. So I'm not going to answer if Filipinos are lazy, but my question is, the issue here is being tamad wrong? Is it wrong to be tamad? My claim is it is not wrong to be tamad. And I will do that by reevaluating the notion of tamad through the story of Juan Tamad. And then so we could arrive in a different notion of tamad. So the story of Juan Tamad is very important because he is the epitome of what should not be. And then the story of Juan Tamad is a famous children's story or a folk tale, but there's a lot of variation about it. The most famous one is when Juan Tamad and the guava tree, when he just lay beneath the tree of guava and with mouth open and waited for the guava fruit to go down indirectly into his mouth. So so that's how tamad he is. So, but it is unknown who wrote and when it was written. The earliest known written is titled Buhay na Pinagdaanan ni Juan Tamad na anak ni Fabio at ni Sofia sa Kaharian ng Portugal. So, what is tamad? First, I will define tamad in different language first. When somebody describes someone as lazy, it is always implied that the person loves doing nothing or they are doing nothing. In Western I divided into three languages: the Western languages, the Asian languages, and Filipino languages. So here we go. In Western languages, in English, the word lazy came apparently, is said to came from the Middle Low German, laschig, or meaning feeble or weak. So in modern German word, for feeble or weak is lasch. If you think about it, lazy kind of like has a connotation that you're weak or feeble. Why is that? We go another to the Spanish. The Spanish language, they have a lot of word for lazy, but the most common use is perezoso or perezosa. Perezoso or perezosa came from two words, pereza and or osa or oso, depending if it's feminine or masculine. Pereza is also used as a colloquial when, oh, it's something drag or tedious to do. You'll say, ah, pereza, or something like that. Then pereza came from the Latin word pigricha, and then that is a variation of pigr, which means lazy, slow, indolent, and inactive. So the Italian word for lazy now is pigro or pigra. And then I have found that in most Latin influenced language like English, Spanish, Italian, French, even the Philippines, they have this common word of indolence. And what is indolence? Indolence is also came from two words, in and dolens. In means something is not, or it is without, or the opposite of. And then dolens comes from the Latin word dolentem, which means grief or pain or suffering. Combining the two, it literally kind of means Indolence is freedom from pain and suffering. When we look about it, there's nothing too negative about it. The meaning of the words actually. So what will the Asian languages say about being lazy? The kanji for or character for lazy and neglectful, it is consists of three radicals: the shi, ko, and shin. The shi means private, the ko means mouth, and then the shin means heart. When you combine the shi and ko, it becomes a platform or a stand. According to Williams, if you use the vertical heart and put it beside the table, the meaning becomes joyful. This is the kanji for joyful. And being joyful follows that someone is being more at ease. So one becomes neglectful and lazy. So in my opinion, since these Chinese characters could be interpreted in a lot of ways, I think that the table or form, this one, is on top of the heart. Something heavy is being carried by the heart, like a burden. Since a table or a platform is heavy, so when you're carrying a heavy burden, it could result into a lack of motivation. In comparison to the joyful kanji, with the heart is beside the table, it kind of like connotes that the heart is past the heavy thing, thus they are joyful. So we move on to the Sanskrit. In Sanskrit, there's a lot of word again for being lazy or lazy. There's alasa, manda, tandarayu, and they all have also other meaning. Alasa also means tired, faint, heavy, without energy. Manda also means slow, tardy, and inactive. And tandarayo means fatigue. So we now move on in Filipino languages. In Filipino, the word for lazy is tamad. Tamad is also the word used in other dialects. Tagalog, Ilonggo, Kinaray, Kapampangan. And some other dialects have different variation of tamad, like in Hiligaynon, they have amad, or in Itawes, they have tamag. In Cebuano, they have tapulan, can be used to describe someone who doesn't want to do a certain job. For example, I will say, mahimo ba ni mo kini? Or can you please do this? And then the person I'm talking to will say, ay dili man gusto ko, kay lisod kini, which means I don't want to do it. It's hard. The person will reply, ay tapulan kaayo, which means you are very lazy. In Tausog, the term for lazy is lisu, and when it becomes a verb, malisu, it could also state that one is tamad, or being tamad seems to have multiple meanings depending on how one uses it. For example, in Filipino, when we say, tinatamad ka na naman, or you are being lazy again, the person is implying that the other person is not doing anything or just idling. Or they could also mean that you don't want to do anything. And another example is when a person said, ay, tintatama rin ako nito. It means that I'll get lazy because of this. Connotes that the person is not naturally lazy, but something happened that made them lazy. Something that is a burden to them, that makes them feel lazy. A common Filipino phrase, especially for our age, is that tinatamad ka lang. Tinatamad ka lang means you're just being lazy, you're just lazy, which is often it is similar to how Cebuano, the Cebuano tapulan is used. Now, we learned that tamad have other connotation when used, or have two or more meanings, which is not entirely negative. Tamad is more of a feeling of boredom, tiredness, fatigue, lack of motivation, or energy than a characteristic or nature of loving doing nothing. And also, we learned that it evokes something is going on that person that makes him feel or her feels like not doing it. So our notion, the notion that we have to change of tamad, is that tamad is a people who loves doing nothing, someone who lies and leeches other without valid reason. But one should imagine Juan Tamad, why is he doing that? Why is being tamad? For me, I realized that there's two kinds of tamad. One is the one who loves doing nothing without valid reason and muches other people. Second is that those are people who lack resources. They don't have healthy mind and body. They are tired. They are lacking motivation. They don't have money. They don't have good opportunities. And I think the thing that we have to call them, the first one is a freeloader o mang puhut-hut, because they don't have any valid reason to do nothing and they just don't want to do it. But the second one are the marginalized people. They have a reason to become tamad because they cannot do the usual thing that the privileged people has opportunity to do so. So one should reimagine one tamad that he does not have any opportunity to protect himself to the flea. If he has clothes that could protect him when a flea flew in his body, then it means that he has money. But no, he does not have money. He does not have nice clothes to protect himself. To think about it, he does not even have to go to the market to buy a pot if his mother has already have a pot herself, or if they have somebody who they can order to buy for themselves. So this is what separates the category 1 and category 2 tamad people, because category 2 tamad people, the marginalized people, have discarded. They have to think of ways to simplify their work. So what is discarte? According to Yakat, discarte is a Filipino word that loosely translates to a strategy or approach. Morales said that it is a creative problem-solving strategy that one applies to solve very simple problems, which is limited by their environment, status in life, or lack of resources. Somebody has this very simple problem, but they cannot solve it the usual way. And then, so they have to disregard the usual solution. And where does discarte comes from? Discarte comes from the word descarte, from a Spanish word, which is from dis and carte. Dis means away and carte means card. So literally, it means throwing away the cards. And in playing games, one would discard uh, a card as a strategy to win. The card could have been a winning card or a useless card, but altogether it is a useless move because they don't know what the other person has. So they are limited by the resources and they don't know what is the result. Thus, they must be creative, smart, and think outside the box. Use the materials that they have what is right now. So now, why is it important to evaluate the notion of tamad? It is important because last 2019, Ramon Tulfo Jr. said that Filipino workers are lazy compared to the Chinese workers who are now flocking the country. And actually, most Filipino workers need to hustle jobs just to make ends meet. And this hustling of jobs requires discarded to simplify their work. And when you simplify your work, it looks like you're being tamad and they get bashed for that, for simplifying their work. It is misinterpreted that the person who loves doing nothing, like in the category 1, is also the same as the person who, like the Filipino workers who hustle jobs. But no, they are not the same because these people have valid reason to simplify their work, to get rested, to get lazy. The Filipino workers are limited by their resources. They don't have enough energy and they are fatigued. That's why they're getting tamad on some things in their life. So, in conclusion, we go back to our issue. Is it wrong to be tamad? We learned that tamad is more of a feeling that indicates or connotes that the person is fatigued and lacks motivation or energy. They also lack resources or opportunity like money and network, etc., etc. And then when the person is being tamad, they often simplify their work. And this is misinterpreted in that is, and simplifying their work is misinterpreted as something bad, which is not. They just have to think smarter, to disregard the usual solution, and to conserve the energy that they have, because they're going to get tired and more. And a mad person is different from a freeloader or manghuhut-hut, because they have valid reasons what freeloaders do not. So therefore, being tamad is not wrong. So, in conclusion, though it's not wrong to be tamad, we should be still wary of our action and choices, because there's still a lot of consequences. That's all. Thank you. And here is my references. Hope you enjoy my presentation and you learn something. Thank you very much.